What's up, guys? Justin here and Greg from Baseball and Whatever. We are here for episode 13, which will be baseball. And this week we are now that we're in the dog days of summer, we thought maybe we would count down our top 5 summer themed movies, which is kind of vague and auspicious a little bit, but I think it'll be fun. I think we got some different takes. There's a few that couldn't decide if it technically counted as a summer movie, even though it took place during the summer, but it was more of an action movie or more of a this or that. So we'll see. It doesn't really matter. But
I think if it contains one summer scene, it's eligible.
Then you're good.
So
right?
there you go. Or so the word summer. There you go.
Yeah. Or like a late spring, early summer.
Late spring, early fall.
Yeah. Any
released in summer. Oh God, they're just 5 awesome movies.
Yeah, that works too. That works too. So after we get done with this episode, if you have any of your favorite summer themed movies you want to send to us, feel free to do so. But in the meantime, if you need to get a hold of us, you can on Instagram at baseball and whatever, Twitter at baseball and what, email us at baseball@gmail.com. We also got a couple of emails this week, so Greg will have to read those. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/baseball and whatever. And we now, because I was bored the other day being on summer vacation and finished with grad school, I built us a website. So it's free. So I believe the URL is baseballandwhatever.weebly, WEEBLY.com. And on there is just another place where you can find all of our videos, a little bit about what we're doing. I think the most recent audio podcast is up there just because I can't embed the old ones on there. But so get a hold of us on any of those places. We'd love to hear from you. And that's all I got. So Greg, you wanna throw it to the emails and see what the people have said about our Simpsons countdowns from last week?
I think that has gotten a lot of positive response because we've gotten feedback, probably more feedback than ever before, because the Simpsons, let's face it, everyone loves the Simpsons.
Everyone loves the Simpsons, yeah.
But really quick, Justin, did you start a question of the day or a question of the week? I think that's some stuff we'll be getting into later. But
so I saw
that little. I was away in Michigan the past couple of days, so I happened to see that on Twitter. We had recorded, but Justin recorded a question that we'll get to. But I kind of like that idea. I definitely chimed in.
Yeah,
but it's a good. It was a good question. So we will.
At the time, it was right before the Cubs. The wheels completely fell off the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, I was like, we want to get more feedback from people. So I just kind of put a question out there, made a little video. I think I even put it in our podcast feed because I know our father-in-law, I saw him this week and he goes, "Oh, you guys got a new episode?" I go, "Oh, no, it's only 2 minutes. It's just a question that we're trying right now." So, so we'll talk about that, but I'm thinking maybe each week, one of us will come up with some question and we'll put it out there and then we'll get some feedback before we record. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll stick with it. Maybe we won't, but, having some extra free time now, I'm trying to come up with new stuff to do. So
I think if you don't have one for next week, Justin, I think I might have one in the works. So
all right,
be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you don't remember last week, was it last week we did our top 5 Simpsons characters? Now we kind of stuck to more of the supporting characters and left the main 5 out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just for a little more variety there, and we got some pretty good feedback on that. So we had a couple people chime in here. So first we have Trent on Facebook reached out to us, and I think these are in order from 1 to 5.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah,
they're 1 to 5. Okay, but either way, I mean, there's, like we said before, there's really not any wrong answers there. So Trent writes in. Hold on, let me close this. I don't know what this popped in my computer. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, so we have Trent's 1 to 5. Chief Wiggum.
Good choice.
Good call.
Good choice.
Comic book guy who had on my list Groundskeeper Willie. And on my list, Krusty the Clown, and
that's
of course, Apu Nahasapima Petalon.
And I liked the fact that he actually spelled all that out on the Facebook comment.
Yes, he did.
Too.
Oh, Trent must be hardcore.
He's a go-getter.
So, absolutely excellent choices, Trent. Honorable mentions. He listed a few: Ned Flanders and Principal Skinner.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with any of those characters.
Not at all.
Great moments. So, going to the email, Ashley chimes in. And look at that, number 1, just like you, Justin, Milhouse.
Good choice. Good choice.
And then she got number 2, Mo, followed by Ned Flanders, Chief Wiggum, and Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. And then Tiffany also writes in on the email. and she listed her
She broke
top
it
five
down, yeah.
males and female. Tiffany is a very hardcore Simpsons fan,
Okay.
and excellent with the quotes and lines of the Simpsons. So Tiffany writes in, we'll start with the males. She goes, Mo, Chief Wiggum.
Mole
Hans
Man.
Mole Man, great call there. Ralph, another excellent call. And Nelson Muntz. And for females, this is pretty good. For the first one, she wrote, got Patty and Selma. Good call there. Edna Krabappel. Cookie Kwan,
Yes, that's a
number 1 on the
deep cut,
west
but I like it.
side, right there.
Exactly.
The Cat Lady and Miss Hoover. A couple teachers in there. Tiffany works in the education profession, so I'm sure she can definitely appreciate the teachers, and I'm sure you could too, Justin.
Totally.
That portrayal of them might be too accurate at some points, being a teacher in a public school. So
yes,
I'm sure you can side with that many times.
I know. I was looking up for I can't remember what I was looking it up for, but it was a GIF of Superintendent Chalmers, and it was like, Seymour, the kids are getting uglier and uglier every year. It just made me laugh. Nothing, no truth to that, of course, but I love that, Skinner gets blamed for the children's looks now too. So, but yeah. And the other thing, and this is complete coincidence, I started reading last week a book that Erica got me for, I think it was for my birthday, or it might have been for Christmas. I can't remember now, but it was called Simpsons Confidential. And one of the writers, one of the original writers, and he was also the showrunner for a couple of years. His name's Mike Rice. He wrote this book explaining what it was like to be there from the beginning, the fighting with some of the producers in the beginning, leaving and then coming back, and just kind of what it's been like to go from 0 to 30 years from the eyes of one of the writers and producers. So it was a really cool book. If you have any interest in The Simpsons, I highly recommend it. It was a really easy read, just a lot of fun. And you can definitely tell the guy's a writer because he tried to make it pretty funny. So there's some good, awesome. good trivia in there though too. Like they talked about how a lot of the background characters, that if they eventually didn't want to write for them anymore, or just didn't think they were any good, they killed them off. And that's why, like some of the early seasons, I think, there's like the psychiatrist that they see in the first season. I can't remember his name, where they're all shocking each other. You remember?
Yes. Isn't it Marvin something? Marvin something.
They're like, we didn't like writing for that character, so we killed him off. I'm like,
that's right. So, he never came back.
Yeah, he's just dead
after that. So,
but it was a pretty good book. So highly check that out. It's called Simpsons Confidential. Pretty good.
Good stuff. Yeah. Thanks everyone for writing in your top fives, and feel free to send in those top fives at any time. It doesn't we'll read them, whenever they come in. We can always go back to the Simpsons here. So,
yeah. There's always time for Simpsons talk. So.
Great stuff.
All right. Well, we'll get into the baseball talk here. We got the White Sox, who are still, riding high. Things are going well. I guess the big news, was it today or yesterday that broke, Greg, that Eloy is starting his Class A rehab assignment. And I think he was quoted as saying he plans to be back either within a month or by the end of the month. I can't remember which one it was.
He's starting his rehab assignment at Winston-Salem, single A. And he said, I think he was quoted saying, I feel 110%. No, I mean 200%. And good
thing he felt better before he was injured, right?
Right. It was like, good thing Ron Swanson didn't hear that, because according to Ron, if only idiots say they give 110%. So not sure what I think about that, Eloy. But yes, start your rehab assignment.
Yeah.
Get back on the field. Get back to the bigs. We need you, big guy.
Yeah.
So very encouraging news after, the devastating injury that was in spring training, and we're like, there goes the season, blah, blah, blah. And now he's on the way back. Godspeed and, good minor league rehab stint, and just get back to the big league club, because, we're still dropping like flies up.
They are
up here. It's
definitely a cause for concern.
I'm sure you know the news by now, but Grandal, with the calf, IL 4 to 6 weeks, he had the surgery. This is our fourth key starting position player has gone down that will miss significant time. Now he is expected to return in this season, because they said, the injury, still 4 to 6 weeks. So he'll only be on the 10-day. I mean, they'll keep putting him on there, but
right.
So and he was, I know I was ragging on him the last couple episodes, because he wasn't hitting very
Yeah,
well,
just had
hitting
the
a
on base. That was it.
right. But then as soon as I said, I mean, the power started heating up a little bit. He started mashing the ball, and no one else was, and now he's hurt.
Right.
So it's just like
When it rains, it pours.
It's another one. So now we are the first place White Sox, and our catching staff is Zach Collins and Zebi Zavala, who I'll be honest, folks, I know who he is.
Okay.
I forgot about his ass. I'll be perfectly. I know he had a drink of water here in like 2018 or 2019.
Okay, so he's been in the organization for a little while.
He's been on the 40 man for a couple years now, and he was, getting played. He played like what before his call up was like 8 or 9 games or something. I don't know if he got recorded a major league hit. I don't know if he's recorded a minor league hit, to be perfectly honest. He's a defensive guy, but before I mean, which is okay. But we need someone to replace Grandal here. It seems like now. If it's, I mean, if we still have a good lead in the division here, but we need to keep that afloat. And our attention is sort of shifted. I'm like, okay, we had that second base, issue was like, oh, should we get Eduardo Escobar, Adam Frazier, blah blah blah. And now it's like, shit, who's going to play catcher? So, because I mean, we got Zach Collins, but he can't really hit, and he can't. He's like a big. His thing is like passed balls.
Yeah.
He'll call the pitch. He's like, oh yeah, bury that curveball in the dirt. And then it gets by him. So
it's not a good look.
I don't think that is a very good thing. So I don't know what to do here about catcher. If we can survive with these two boneheads until Grandal gets back, I don't know. It's we might have to start, Rick, you might have to get on the horn here and see if there's a guy available. So
do you think he'd be willing to do that, or do you think he's just going to buy his time until Grandal comes back?
Well, since Grandal, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, we're in the situation right now where you have to do your due diligence. Excuse me, for sure. Can't say that, and you have to. I mean, this might be our shot. So we kind of have to at least keep an open mind about that.
Yeah,
because we just can't have all these. We're surviving right now with just calling up our young guys. Like our Gavin Sheets and Jake Burgers. To kind of fill voids, kind of fill spots in the lineup here. And, that's fine. But in the long run, when we start playing some of these better teams, that might not translate over, where we might need a professional bat.
Yeah. So it's going to be needed at some point.
So we got to look at second base, and now we have to look at catcher. So I was looking at some possible guys out there. I'm sure you have too. We all heard the rumor. Well, it's not. I can't even call it a rumor. It's just all speculation. Just possible candidates on tanking teams. The first person that comes to mind is Yadier Molina, but he's having a shit year, and it's like, oh, we'll be a Tony,
Tony guy. Yeah.
So reunite with Tony. It's like, no, I want his little Tony people on this team. Just keep him away. If he was hitting the ball better, yeah, fine, because we're looking for offense right here. We need a bat.
If it was Yadier Molina, say even 5 years ago, that'd be a big difference.
Oh yeah, totally. And the defense is still solid, there, obviously, but we need the bat. One interesting thing though is like, there's this guy, because I know there's been talk around Adam Frazier. He's a big trade target. He's under control for a couple more years. But the Pirates also have this catcher. Is it Jacob Stallings?
I've heard
that's
the name.
Having a pretty solid. His numbers are pretty solid. I mean, they're nothing like that. Really pops at you, but they're pretty good hitting catcher, and he apparently works well with the pitching staff.
Okay.
So that could be an interesting thought. Maybe if we get like some sort of, maybe explore package, maybe just look at the Pirates, get a Frazier Stallings thing. I mean, that's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, that would be cool, man.
But I mean, those fill two huge needs. I mean, a solid hitting catcher and then he can just back up Grandal when he comes back. Do what you will with Collins. I mean, when we come
Right.
to that time, we need to win. And then Adam Frazier is the starting second baseman for the NL All
You're
Stars,
set
having
for a
a
while. Yeah.
killer season. Got some depth right there, even down the road. So that's kind of interesting.
Well,
But
I think too, it depends. Like if, and I mean, by all accounts, it sounds like this is the case. But I mean, if Rick Hahn and Reinsdorf are saying, okay, and Kenny Williams, I guess for that matter too, if they're saying, okay, this is our year, or this is our best shot, you kind of gotta have to go for it then, right? Like if it means losing a few really good prospects in hopes of getting some of these guys to kind of plug the holes at this point, would you recommend that, Greg, or what do you think?
well, I think I definitely would recommend that because that's just that's just kind of the way we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
That's just our window to win right now. I mean, this
Right.
might be. I mean, teams talk about I mean, even with the Cubs, sustained success, and it just didn't work. And they're
I
not
was
the
gonna
only.
say,
You
yeah.
know what? They're not the only
No, they're
ones.
not.
It's very very hard to do, and this might be our year. And it's not. This isn't like the magical 2005 season, and we
No.
still pretty much have the same guys working the front office, albeit they're in different positions of power now.
Right.
But that season, I mean, our off-season guy was Jeff Blum, who turned out to be a postseason hero.
Yes.
But that's all we
That's all it
got.
was.
That's all
Yeah.
Ozzy wanted. I
Yeah.
mean, Bobby Jenks was a waiver claim, and then they called him up. Like nowadays, you look at that. If that team, we're just stocking them. I mean, there was a lot of luck involved with that season. There
Yes.
was a lot of talent. There was just the right guys in the right place. This season's very different. You got to look at it different. This team lacks depth, and this team lacks health.
Yes.
So
That's a bad combination to
it
be
is,
lacking
and
too.
it should be a very different approach. Where if we got a good division lead, we got to start thinking about beating up on other teams. Securing that postseason spot, and we need bats in the lineup. We need plenty of guys because I hate to say it, but we might not be done with the injuries here. Engel might go down
Yeah.
again. Another key guy could go down again. And then what are you going to do? White Sox are there with their pants down
Yeah.
and, nothing doing. So, you know what? Trades, yeah, sometimes a good trade is gonna, it's just gonna be like, you
It's a
feel like
double-edged
you paid
sword,
the high
right?
price, right? Exactly. Like you got the piece that you should need, that should work, that the right move to make, and it's going to cost you. But at least you can say that you try to go all in for this season. So
Right.
what it'll
Right.
cost, I don't know. It might cost you a guy in the big league roster. It might cost you some of your higher
Higher
prospects, but
prospect. Yeah.
that's the price.
Mm.
I mean, you guys know with Aroldis Chapman,
Yeah.
labor tours and everything, even though he's kind of been on
He's having a rough season
he
lately.
is,
Yeah.
but still a really talented player and everything. But that's the price you pay for
Right.
winning.
And I feel like what kills me is when you listen to like sports radio or even on like Twitter and stuff, and you hear these guys complain, we should have never traded Gleyber Torres. I'm like, you know what? We got a World Series out of that trade. So I'm
Yeah.
not even upset about that one. It's
Yeah.
it's the moves that came after that were
Right.
just, head scratchers. But
Yeah, I mean, in fairness too, in hindsight, yeah, it does kind of, like I said, there's that sting a little bit, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got that World Series and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what matters. But yeah, you know what? That's what a key trade like that is. It could really kill you down the line. White Sox could send away, a Jared Kelly or
Yeah.
even like a guy like Crochet or even Berger now.
well, yeah.
And then they could turn out to be really, really solid and be like, but we did what we had to do. So
What's your take on Berger so far on the big league roster? Do you think there's something
Yeah.
there, or what do you think?
you know what? I think I'm still in kind of like that quote unquote Cinderella period with him.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know this guy's story, Justin, but this
I know he
guy
got
has
hurt
had to
twice,
face-
right?
Yeah, I mean, this guy was the number one pick back in 2017, and he's
Okay.
battled injury after injury. He was in independent ball during, at some points, low level minors, and just kept getting hurt, and thought about quitting and everything, and then he just, he is just one of those guys that persevered through everything and rose back and finally made it. I never thought we'd see him.
No.
Well,
I remember.
I just saw one of those first round draft picks. It'd be like, just kind of like a pick we blew then because a guy that was talented but just couldn't stay on the field.
Well,
and
he ruptured. What was his Achilles? No, his heel. Well, I don't remember what it was. Something with his foot, right?
I've listened to so many interviews with him, and I can't remember. I can't remember what the actual injury was. I just remember of all the rehabbing and all the the depression and stuff he had to go through to make it back. So
it takes a toll.
Whatever it was. I mean, it was pretty bad. The injuries, the mental part of it. I mean, you just felt for the guy, and to see him here finally, you're like shocked.
He's here, yeah.
But it's like it's amazing. So, you know what? I hope he sticks around because if he's hitting the ball, why not? We could use it. So. Same with Gavin Sheets. So
it looks like Berger ruptured his Achilles in 2017 and then ruptured it again in 2019.
In 2019, I know it happened twice. Yeah.
So I mean, it's good for him. I mean, I also appreciate the fact that they called him up and said, "Hey, we need you to play second." And he's not a second baseman by nature, right? He's a third baseman.
He's a third baseman, yeah.
And obviously, I mean, that's blocked. You're not going to get Yoan Moncada's spot, on most days in the lineup, and
you don't really want
kind of blocked.
Yoan playing second either.
No. So no, I mean, good for him. I mean, they sent Yermin down. They called up Berger. I think probably the biggest thing that I think you were most excited about was Adam Eaton was DFA'd this week.
I can't believe it. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they ate the money on the guy they love. And you know what? Okay, so rewind to the offseason, the previous offseason. Yeah, we all knew Adam Eaton was out there. Oh,
it's just lurking like Jaws.
Not a chance that would ever happen. I mean, there's Marcelo Ozuna, there's Michael Brantley, there's Nick Cott, there's all these guys out there. I don't think Castellanos was one of them, actually. But, there are plenty of, guys. I mean, Springer, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And then there's Adam Eaton name, sitting, look at the bottom of the list.
You got to scroll to like the second, third page.
I always love looking at the free agents and everything and, making all the predictions and all that. And I looked at him, was like, son of a bitch. Rick Hahn likes him for whatever goddamn reason.
Yeah, I don't.
No one else
that.
likes him.
Well, I was going to say,
his teammates don't like him.
His teammates didn't like him because wasn't he one of the ones the last time he was on the team? He was in the Drake LaRoche camp about we need Drake LaRoche. He's a leader in this clubhouse.
Yes.
I don't know why a teenager is the leader of a clubhouse. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Teenager that was Adam Eaton's just shit for brains.
Yeah.
I don't even think the guys, I mean, even Gordon Beckham was on the air saying, yeah, he really didn't. He said, yeah, he was a spark plug, not like, oh, I really like the guy. He's a good friend. Or
there's nothing positive about his attitude.
Nothing really there. And you know what? That's fine if you're that guy and you're producing, but Adam Eaton, he was hot to start the year and then just, after that, just
fell off,
stinking up the rest. But anyway, so they signed him. You remember me. I was
pissed.
Livid. I was yelling at Vinny because I was talking to Vinny about it months ago. I was like, hey, I wouldn't put it past the White Sox, to re-sign Adam Eaton. He's like, oh God, no, they'll never do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, God, I hope you're right. But, I think it's like that thing where your team, the little shitty things they're gonna do, and sure enough, it happened. But lo and behold, he's gone. And I didn't think it would happen. Normally, the team doesn't DFA guys that have major league contracts like that. But hey, it's the right move. He's not producing, not doing anything for you.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I mean, it's so weird too because the day before he's like in the leadoff spot, in the lineup, and then the next day he's gone. So it's like what is going on here? And he makes a really nice catch in the Detroit series, but other than that, nothing.
I thought it was so funny. I want to say it was MLB.com, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe, and they had an article. It was something along the lines of the White Sox just have such a good problem that they're having to DFA good players now too. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't qualify him as a good player. No. I don't know what that was all about.
We still have plenty of below average players on this team, and Adam Eaton was one of them. And you know what? You just can't be carrying that crap right now.
No, not if you're a championship contender.
Right. If these younger bats like Sheets and Berger are going to be, pieces for a little bit, I'd rather keep them on and then just, dump the guy who's pissing off people in the clubhouse and, not really producing on the field. So
Which
if Adam Eden was producing,
that'd be another story.
I still, it's like, I still hate the guy, but at least, the major leaguer postseason guy won a World Series
exactly
on the team. There's got to be something to speak for that. But
I was honestly kind of surprised because I know like La Russa's more of a veterans first kind of guy. So I was surprised that they DFA'd Eaton in favor of some of these young guys,
Yeah, it's got to be Rick Hahn on that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just Rick Hahn kind of, stepping up saying, God damn it. Fuck him.
This is my team, Tony, not yours. Yeah,
exactly. So,
well, you know what? Hey, good for the Sox. I mean, they're still hanging in there. I think. You don't have anything to worry about from the bottom of the division. I mean, Cleveland's still kind of just sitting there.
We're like 7 or 8 games.
7 or 8. So, I mean, the lead's growing. I think that'll be good.
Cleveland's been on a really rough losing streak. I think they lost 9 of the last 10 or something like that. So it's like, just keep beating Cleveland people because
keep losing. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. You got any other tidbits you want to mention about the Sox before we move on?
No, I think I covered everything I wanted to say.
Okay.
So I know there was that brief Bob Nightingale tweet about the Trevor Story stuff. I don't know if that one's happening.
Well, they would have to move him to second base too, right? Because he's a shortstop.
They would move. Yeah, they would move him to second base. I'm like, I just take Adam Frazier to be perfectly honest, because then I get the lefty also. So
yeah,
Trevor Story's not having the greatest year. I know he's in the home run derby, but he's not having the greatest year.
He's having a rough season.
So.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to make of that. I feel like Bob Nightingale, half the stuff he says, I take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you can't really, I
mean, he's been on with some stuff and then other stuff. It's like, where did you get this from? Because it makes no sense.
On an actual possibility, he's actually wrong. Because I'm like, Trevor Story. I'd still don't get me wrong. I still take him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's an upgrade over a lot of guys we have on the team.
Yeah.
But then there was a whole La Russa stuff at the beginning of the year. Like, not a chance. Not we all know how that turned out. So
yeah, that was
Bob
something.
Nightingale.
All right. Well, to go from something exciting like the White Sox to the bottom of the barrel, the car has driven off the cliff. Imploded on impact and then exploded again. No survivors. The panic button has broken. There's nothing left. This team is
we can't identify the bodies.
Oh God, would you want to at this point? Probably not.
So it doesn't matter, right?
Let's talk about the Cubs. So coming into this week, they had their 10-game losing streak. I think they were on the 8th game or 7th game of that losing streak when I filmed that question of the week little video on YouTube. Mm-hmm. They won one game last night against the Phillies, and I saw people were starting to get optimistic again. And it's like, why? They're not going to win. They're not going to go on a run. This team does not have it in them, A, and B, they're not built for a run to rally off 5 or 6 wins in a row and then lose one and rally off another 5 or 6. They won their one game, then they lost again tonight, 8-0 to the Phillies.
So shut out. Yeah.
These losses, they're not even close. Like I saw a stat. They said, Eric Sogard has pitched in 5 games. Eric Sogard is a backup second baseman. He should not have pitched in more than one game if you're going to really do the whole hitters pitching for fun when the game's out of hand. So the fact that he's had to pitch 5 times on top of Rizzo pitching 2 or 3 times, it's like, come on, this isn't a stat you really want to have in your toolbox there. But so the question I asked to YouTube, to Twitter, I think I even put it on Instagram and I put it on our Facebook page was, at this point, should the Cubs sell? Now this was 3 or 4 games ago. What should they do? And then what responses did we get from the audience? So Greg H on Facebook responded. He said, unfortunately, yes, it's too bad their key players had minor injuries during the stretch. It's also bad that their contact guys have been out much longer. Duffy and Horner are necessary when you have guys that strike out 2 to 3 times per game. And I think that's exactly right. I think when Duffy was still kicking and so was Horner, the team was rolling a little bit better because you had these contact guys that could get on base, and then you had the big thumpers bring them home. And otherwise, if you don't have any contact guys, none of these guys are getting on base because it's either strike, walk, or home run, and that's it. So I don't know. It's just frustrating to say the least.
I was looking at before we recorded, Justin, I was looking at the Cubs lineup for tonight.
Yes.
And that this is
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I haven't checked in on the lineups, in a couple because with all the losses and everything, I'm like, oh god, but what is going on with this? This looks like a 2017 White Sox.
It looks
lineup.
like an inter squad game from the from
it looks like
spring training.
To go over it quick, so we had Peterson leading off, playing left, Patrick Wisdom at third, Rizzo at first, Hayward batting cleanup and right.
Which is a bit why is he anywhere near the top of the lineup? But it's another story for another day.
Where did they get since when is Robinson Chirinos a Cub?
They literally signed him like a day or two ago because they are so bad on backup catchers now. Because Jose Lobaton is out for the season, I think, and he was like their fourth backup. So yeah.
So then we got some guy Ortega.
Yeah, which I had to do a double take because I couldn't even remember who Ortega was. But yeah.
We had Horner batting seventh.
Yes.
Is that where you want to hit Horner? I don't know how he's been doing.
But I mean, he's your contact guy.
Why is he all the way down at 7?
Why is like Hayward batting
Renteria fourth? Anderson BS. Yeah.
I would even take a swap of Horner and Hayward, even though Horner's not a power guy. Have him bat fourth, and hopefully he can bring somebody in.
And then you got Sergio Alcantara playing short, and then Adbert at batting 9. So I'm looking at this lineup. I'm like, this lineup feels this doesn't look like a Cubs, lineup.
No,
this kind of looks like and I know they've been, losing a bunch of games.
Baez and Bryant are both day to day again. So.
Right. This is all kind of like this is all just kind of like a mop up the year sort of lineup.
It is. It's going to be a long rest of the season. And like I said, unfortunately, they're going to start selling and a lot of these big name guys that, have some ability aren't going to be on the team, I would imagine. I mean, I thought it was funny. Our buddy Dave, he commented on our Facebook post. He said, had the Cubs kept Darvish, re-signed Schwarber, and then re-signed Nick Castellanos, who I would have loved Nick Castellanos. I still don't understand that one.
Why what happened? Whatever happened with him in the Cubs? They just the Reds signed him.
The Reds signed him.
The Cubs didn't want to pay him.
They didn't want to pay him. I don't know if they really ever offered him a fair market value contract offer either.
Remember, yeah. Oh God.
So he goes on to say, if they would have done those
three All-Stars. I'm sorry, Dave.
Oh no, that's fine.
Dave just listed 3 All-Stars right there. By the way, so.
Yeah, pretty much. He said if they would have re-signed those and not re-signed Arrieta, which I could have told them that Arrieta was a nightmare. The Cubs would probably not be in this mess again, but here they are just a few years after their championship run. So yeah. And then we can't forget the third musketeer of our 3 Musketeer podcast here. Vinny wrote in on this question as well. Vinny, hope you're doing well. He said, Chris Bryant is probably the only field player / batter that you're going to sell right now. Andrew Chaffin and Kimbrel are 2 bullpen pieces you could probably get a good return for. Kimbrel has 1 more year left of control, so he's probably your best bet to get a good haul. The Cubs need prospects that are closer to MLB ready, which is nothing like what they got in the Darvish trade. That was what was probably so upsetting for most Cubs fans.
Those guys are really far away.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't even like top picks, or top prospects. So it's just a mess. Thank you to those 3 guys for adding to the question of the week here.
Good stuff. All really good stuff. There.
It's just, I feel like, there was a certain road you could have taken to stay contenders, and the Cubs literally did everything the opposite of that. And again, I know hindsight's 2020. Schwarber's having a great year. He's hurt now though, which is a shame. But he's doing his normal, typical year, which really Cubs could have used. I mean, Jock Peterson, we looked up their stats a couple of weeks ago. They weren't that great. I mean, comparable, but not there. He's not getting on base as much as Schwarber was. Castellanos has been having a great couple seasons for the Reds, so good for him. And like Vinny said, Bryant is probably the best bet in terms of a positional player to get you somebody back, but he's having I know he messed up his hand sliding back head first into second base,
right? Which
he hurt himself really bad doing that before. It's like, come on, learn from your mistakes. This isn't that difficult, but I don't know. It's a bad place to be a Cubs fan right now. That is for sure.
The losing streak is just, oh my God, just absolute, and
I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but I think it's kind of funny that since MLB has gone into the, regulating the substances, their bullpen is a joke right now. He had one of the best bullpens in the league. Now that could
Right.
also be because of being overworked. So I say that with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
besides Kimbrel and Andrew Chaffin, everyone else now has been a nightmare. Nobody can get anybody out. So
Right.
it's just a nightmare. The other thing I thought was funny is D Gordon the last couple of weeks we've been asking, where is D Gordon? Why hasn't he been called up? Because he signed
Because he's not on the team anymore.
Not anymore. Nope. So he apparently was playing in Iowa this whole time. He has now opted out of his contract, so he is no longer Cubs property. He was hitting 233, 270 on base, and a 310 slugging with a 3% walk rate and a 17% strikeout rate in AAA Iowa. So maybe his best years are well behind him. So wish him the best of the luck.
So is this going to be Adam Frazier's replacement pretty much? Because isn't D Gordon a second baseman? He tried to play the outfield with the Mariners, but that
didn't go so hot.
So Pirates are ready to deal Frazier. So D Gordon
sign up D Gordon.
That's why he opted out. So
heck,
he can play
at this point, I'd give him Ian Happ, and they can convert him back to a second baseman because he is awful this season too. But he's always on the score, hawking his coffee that he makes. So, yeah. All right. And then the last thing I have for the Cubs before we can get to something way more positive and upbeat is that Arrieta has been put on the injured list. I'm assuming this is a phantom injury because
that kind of injured list.
Greg, I try not to get too upset about what players say, but did you hear his quotes the other day after his last outing, his last last pitcher's outing?
No, I didn't.
He quoted as saying, "I still have a lot left in the tank."
Oh, yes, I did hear that. I
have a lot left in the tank, and I'm a good pitcher. I still got it. This has just been a rough couple of weeks. No, sir, you've been bad all season. You clearly don't have it anymore, which is fine. You've had a great career. You were instrumental in those 3 seasons with the Cubs when they were ramping up to the World Series.
One of the longest stretches of dominance you'll ever see from a starting pitcher. In a season, Jake Arrieta had.
Yeah.
But that's in the past. So it's okay when you lose your stuff, you lose your stuff. So
it happens. It happens to everybody. At some point, nobody is good at their job anymore. They get too old and especially in something that's a physical endeavor like baseball. But don't get up there and tell me you still got it and you deserve a spot. Come
exactly.
on.
And I'll always be a Jake Arrieta fan, but
sure.
I mean, he is just not, pitching good baseball right now. So it's not a sticky substance thing. It's just command is gone. So stuff isn't there anymore.
So I know I saw that Trevor Williams is back from his appendectomy. He will be taking his spot, I believe, on Friday. Is it tomorrow? or Sunday? I can't remember when his rotation spot's up next, but it's either tomorrow or Sunday. So this weekend he will be pitching at some point. Hopefully, he was a fun story in the beginning and then he kind of faded and then he got, his injury with his appendectomy. So we'll see what happens there. But
getting back to the sticky stuff really quick.
Sure.
Some Sox fans were really saying, "Oh, it looks like Giolito is really missing his sticky stuff."
They're turning on him a little bit.
And I'm just like, you know what? No, he's not missing the sticky stuff because he was bad before the sticky stuff had coming down. He is missing. Say what you will, but part of this is missing his buddy James McCann.
Sure.
There is that comfort zone. There is that, relationship with a pitcher and a catcher where James McCann, I think, brought the best out of him. That confidence level was there, and that translated into pitch command.
Right. Because
the pitches are still there. The stuff is there. The command is just, there's no confidence in what he's throwing anymore. And he's getting flustered a lot more easier now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to bash Yasmani Grandal or anything. Because he's a fine, player, but I think McCann just had that work, relationship with him that I think Giolito was missing. And say, well, you got Ethan Katz there. I was like, that's a pitching coach. It's not the same. He's not there on the field. He's not there, in the room all the time, going play by play, step by step. It's the game plan and everything. So I think that's I'm not saying the sticky stuff isn't part of it. Because obviously the spin rates are down and everything. Was he using it? Probably. Was Donaldson right? Yeah, probably. Is Donaldson a dickhead? Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's kind of, this guy was our ace, and then you look at guys like Lance Lynn and Carlos Rodon, you're like, oh, thank God these guys.
Thank God those guys are there. Yeah,
phenomenal seasons. Hopefully, one of them gets to start the All-Star game. I don't know if it will.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that big a deal, but it's just kind of nice to see your guys over there. So, but yeah, just Lucas. I really, really want to see this kid. I don't want to see this kid revert back to the old ways before he was. On a solid pitcher.
Plus side, his next contract, if he keeps pitching like this, you might get a little bit of a discount.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. That's about the only.
I would have rather paid him the big money and him be awesome.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Definitely. You know what? I was really pulling for. Yeah, get him the contract. Get him one of those Rick Hahn deals. That's just like super awesome for the team or whatever. But
team friendly and good.
Now it's like, I'm not pushing the panic button or anything. I'm not like waving the white flag or anything. I'm just like, hey, just like to see him do a little better, because right now he's like the third or fourth starter on the team. If we start the postseason today, you got Lynn or Rodon, going 1-2. So, but yeah, just a little note on that one. I don't think it's the sticky stuff. I don't think it's all about the sticky stuff.
No, you're right.
Are you tired of saying sticky stuff? Because I am.
Yeah. I think we can go forward from that one. I don't have too much from around, the MLB. We know that Trevor Bauer was put on administrative leave.
Yeah, and they just extended it, right?
Yes,
or something.
They extended it. They canceled the Trevor Bauer bobblehead night in LA.
Yeah.
I saw Rachel Luba,
Luba, I think.
I kind of was looking into it because a couple of things I was reading, it was some other agent was the one that was talking for him.
Right.
He's got like co-agents. She is still his agent as well. So
she only handles like the cool stuff, right?
I guess,
like the public relations and crap like that.
Maybe
and the
YouTube
brand,
channel,
the Trevor Bauer brand.
Yeah, that brand might take a hit.
Stuff. Yeah.
So we will keep going with that. I have a feeling that the news on that's going to die down a little bit because of the investigation and then the possible court case that comes after that. But we will see. I guess the only other thing I have is, Greg, I'm kind of curious because I feel like I kind of go back and forth every year. Are you planning to watch the All-Star game this year?
Every year.
Do you really?
Every year, home run derby, All-Star game. Yeah. It's just always been a thing ever since I was a kid. So am I saying it's an entertaining game? By any means, it's probably one of the more boring games you will watch throughout the season. But it's just nostalgia thing for me. Love the All-Star game. Love seeing the guys out there. So
and they'll all be in those dorky ass uniforms this year during the game.
Like I said in the previous episode, I like the idea of an all-star uniform, just kind of like, but what they came out with, just like awful. The 2-button things, like no.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch parts of the game. I usually don't stick around for the whole thing. The thing I always make time to watch is the home run derby. I watch that every year. Yeah. I got to get my Chris Berman fix of back. I feel like that's, ESPN has him stored like cryogenically frozen, and then it's like, home run derby.
Oh, they have
to unfreeze him and wheel him back out. So he's definitely aged, but good for him. He's still doing it. I hope he's doing it. I haven't heard anything about him not doing it this season. But
did you pick? MLB.com did a bracket for.
Oh, did they? I'll have to.
They do it every year.
I think you're right.
I think I picked. I'm excited that I really like all the 8 guys that are in the derby. I think it'll be a fun one. Ohtani will be interesting, man. That guy's a monster. That guy does it all, dude. When Angels first signed him a couple of years ago, it was like, really, a dual player is going to do all that. Man,
this isn't going to pan out.
He is all that this year, man. Wow, he is lighting it up like crazy. So good, he's doing it. But you never want to see anyone get their swing messed up, but it's part of it, for the latter half of the season. So. But just to see these guys mash, especially in Denver. So, see some balls,
good stuff.
Flying high. So
you got Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto from the Nationals, Salvador Perez from Kansas City, Pete Alonso from the Mets, Joey Gallo. There's a name I haven't heard in a while, from Texas.
That's the guy that might be traded too.
The aforementioned Trevor Story that we talked about earlier, Matt Olson from the A's, and I think this is probably the guy I'm going to pull for just because I know he's coming back from cancer, and that's Trey Mancini from the Baltimore Orioles.
Good call.
I'd like to see him. I mean, by all accounts, from what I've read about him, he seems like a decent guy.
Yeah.
And I still have a soft spot for the Orioles back from when I was a huge Cal Ripken fan. So I'll roll with that. We'll see what happens, but hopefully it'll be entertaining. I think since they adopted the new rules, was it 2 years ago with the taking a pitch or you only had so many minutes as opposed to outs now.
Right.
I like that. Like I felt that was way more engaging. It was a lot more fun to watch. Me personally, I mean, I know not everybody liked it, but I enjoyed it that way.
No, I agree. I like the way they. What do you like better, the outs or the time limit?
I like the time limit just because it keeps
it
keeps
I'm
it
the
moving.
Same way. Yeah,
keeps it moving.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. With the
then,
one break in between and all that. So.
And then the guys don't get so tired in the later rounds, because I always felt bad. The guy would hit like 25 home runs in the first round and then be too tired to hit anything else in the later.
Exactly.
In the second round.
No, I like what they did with it. So
that's all I got for baseball. You got anything else before we move to the whatever section, Greg?
Really quick on the Orioles, Justin. Yeah. You hear about this guy Cedric Mullins? The Orioles
are the guy that kind of was a all-star snub. Was it that guy? Yeah.
This guy. I heard about that. I'm like, this guy is tearing it up. Well, the all-star. When you get the fan votes in as part of it for the starters. That's a popularity contest.
I've never been a big fan of the fan voting for any all-star game. So I just pulled up. He is the center fielder for the Baltimore Orioles. He currently has 16 home runs, 34 RBIs, a 316 batting average, a 384 on base, and a 550 slugging percentage. So
and no one knows about it because he's on the Orioles.
I'll be honest. This is his 4th season in the league. I thought he was a rookie when I first heard his name. So, this is like his breakout year. Last year, he batted 270 and had a 315 on base last year. But only had 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Wow. But so this is kind of like his breakout season, but yeah, good for him. Hopefully they keep him around and don't dump him somewhere.
Right. Well, at least he made the team. So he's just not, cause that'd be a crime without it. But, so just want to give a shout out to him because, he was a starter snub, for like, who they get Judge, Trout, Buxton, these guys are all hurt. So,
right. It's just the same guys they trot out every season.
Right. Just those names, which is good for the brand, but maybe it's not because baseball's still suffering, but whatever. Yeah. Whatever. It's the all-star game.
I would agree. As long as it doesn't end in a tie, I think they'll be in good shape, but you never know.
Just end at some point. If I can stay awake, I'll be honest. It's exciting at first, but towards the end of it, you're like, oh, you probably want to fall asleep. So,
yeah.
But not like this podcast, Justin.
No, of course not. This is, the most exciting Chicago area-based baseball / and anything else podcast.
And some might argue that our second half is they enjoy more than the first half because there are only so many baseball fans. But everyone is a whatever fan.
That's right. And everyone probably has a summer themed movie they enjoy. So without further ado, as we segue into our whatever section, so we're going to talk about our top 5 summer movies. Our criteria was pretty loose on this one. Pretty much anything that's got, that takes place during the summer in the movie or has scenes that are in the summer or maybe summer or it being summer is important to the plot. I think that's kind of what we were going for, I think, overall. Right, Greg?
I think that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I know it took me a little while. I had a couple right away, and then I kind of had to do a little research on other movies that I know I've seen before, but just nothing was coming to mind. So I'm kind of excited to see what you come up with. Well, I think
we're going to have like really good variety here, or we might have we're not going to have the exact same list.
Yeah.
But I'm going to predict that we have at least 2 of the same right here.
Okay.
So, and I think we should just stick with our list. Like if you call out number 4 and it's my number 1, I think we should just stay with everything.
Okay.
So
that works for me.
So
leave the people in suspense a little bit.
A little bit. So then we can always revisit it if one of us does mention it. So, but I'm really curious to see. We don't know what each other put down, so I'm really curious to see what Justin put down because, like we said, there's a wide range of possibilities here. So,
all right. Well, Greg, why don't you kick us off? What is your number 5 summer themed movie?
Well, I know this one's not on your list.
Wait, before we start, is there any James Bond movies that take place during the summer?
Justin, I am so glad you asked because coming in at number 5 right here, making its second appearance on our podcast,
Oh
technically,
man.
because we did bring this movie up when we talked to Bill Koenig. If you
Okay.
remember, we talked about the release date of Michael Keaton
Oh yeah,
Batman.
yeah, that's
Also
right.
coming out that year in summer of '89 was the Timothy Dalton James Bond movie License to Kill, which is number
Ooh.
5 on my list.
All right.
It finished. If you don't remember, Bill said it finished behind Honey I Shrunk the Kids that
Woof.
year in its opening weekend. It was a bomb in the U.S. box office, although well received. More so internationally.
Sure.
Very rarely a Bond movie comes out in the summer, but it does have summer themes. There's scenes in Key
Oh,
West,
nice.
in South America. It opens in I think it opens in the Florida Keys or the Bahamas. Um, and it's just one of those, it's just an outlier of a James Bond movie where it's just more of like a Miami Vice themed, drug bust revenge movie with the character of James Bond. And it's just nothing like anything you've ever seen
Hmm.
before, directed by John
I'm
Glenn. Just a
intrigued.
total outlier. If you watch the movie, Justin, you'd be like, I know that guy. That guy was in Lethal Weapon. I know that guy. That guy
A
was
lot
in
of
Die Hard.
character
A lot of
actors.
these character actors. Um, just a very young Benicio del Toro in that movie
Hmm.
before he was big also. So one of my is it one of my favorite Bond movies. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely up there, top 15. But as far as a summer theme goes, yeah, absolutely. Give me that movie, any day of the week. So
Good
no way I could do a
choice.
movie list without mentioning License to Kill, a good summer movie released July 14th. So
Excellent.
89.
Excellent. All right. My number 5, a lot of mine are 80s movies, not to spoil anything, but my number 5, I am a huge John Candy fan.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5 is Summer Rental. Have you ever seen Summer Rental, Greg?
A
I
long time
I
ago.
love
A
I
long
have not I did not seen that movie really until probably about 10 years ago. And now anytime it's on TV, it's one of those movies where I just kind of I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is what I'm watching. So the premise, this family goes and rents a summer cottage that is a complete dump. It's literally right next to the beach. The walkway to the beach goes right past their front door. There's a bunch of, beachgoers that are annoying. John Candy gets sunburn. He messes up his leg, and then it all kind of turns into him working on how to sail. And it's him and Rip Torn, who plays a
Oh my
bar
God,
owner.
that's right.
Yeah. And they literally he teaches him how to sail. Eventually, he ends up in a sailboat race against the guy that owns the house he's renting because he's kind of like a rich asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not Shakespeare. It's nothing crazy, but it's just a fun. I love John Candy. It's just a fun John Candy movie. And bonus points, for some reason he wears a Blackhawks jersey to the beach almost every scene. So I don't know why. Don't know why he would wear a hockey
Oh,
jersey to the beach,
really?
but he does. But I can't remember if the family's from Chicago. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I know he was a huge hockey fan too. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
yeah, so
good
that's
call.
that's
Yeah,
my number
I
5, Summer
I
Rental.
haven't seen that movie. Oh my God, probably since I was a kid.
Yeah,
You
it goes back, but yeah, I just remember
right,
just some of the stuff that happens to him, on vacation with the family, and makes me
right.
think of how much of a nightmare it would be to go on a vacation like that and
I
have to
think
deal with that.
I think did I have that movie on a combo with like Cool Runnings or
You probably
something?
did. You probably
Oh,
did, or
maybe
like
that.
Spies Like Us or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. Oh gosh.
Cool
Yeah,
Runnings, another
no.
good movie too.
Good call. Good
All
call.
right, so that's my number 5, Summer Rental. Greg, what is your number 4?
Number 4. Now I know, if you saw this on Twitter, I may have picked another movie over this one as far as my favorites, but I am a big fan of the movie Independence Day.
Oh,
So
good
despite
choice.
what some of you may think, I do love this movie. Obviously, takes place in the summer, aka Independence Day. So Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, aliens, that was everything I ever cared about as a kid. And
There,
some ways as an adult too. I mean,
there is so
vintage
many good
90s Will Smith
one-liners.
right there. So
Yes.
I gotta say, I love when Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum fly the alien craft to the
Oh yeah.
mothership, and they launch the nuke and they find out they're free, and then when they're trying to escape, the whole back and forth right there
Yes.
is just is just one of a kind right there. Jeff Goldblum recycling the must go faster.
Yes.
Will Smith just shut up. I mean, just just hilarious. I love that
movie. And I think is it Robert Delia? Is he the one that plays the general? I can't remember.
Yeah, Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia. Thank you. I knew I had the name wrong.
What was the Tom Hanks movie? He was
Big. He was in Big.
Thank you.
That's a great one. That would have been one of my what's it called? Honorable mentions. I loved that movie. I remember the first time. I didn't see it in theaters as a kid because I think I was only like 9. I was 9 when it came out.
96 it came
96,
out.
yeah. So I was 9, but when that was when we still had HBO. I remember that summer it was on, or the next summer, however long it took to get to HBO, it was on like every other day. And I watched it. I could recite that whole movie. Randy Quaid was hysterical, which is kind of scary because Randy Quaid has kind of turned into that character in real life now.
A little bit, yeah.
He's oh man,
wow. There was no acting there, so
no, but yeah, I love the I'm pilot, just stupid.
I can fly.
And as someone who, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Area 51 and like trying to find out what was happening there. I remember when we got the internet, one of the first things I printed out was like a redacted map of Area 51. I was like 10. What am I going to do with this? But I was. So
did you have agents show up to your house?
I did. I did. Black sedans and black SUVs pulled up. But yeah, like you said, that was such a great movie. The characters in that movie are just so memorable. And again, it's a big dumb action movie. If you go in knowing that, I think some people nowadays expect it to be like this literary work of art. And it's like, no, it's a fun action movie. Like don't overthink it,
Right. Don't read too much. And we love to deep dive and talk about things like no, just let it be. Let this one be what it is.
And I always thought it was so stupid. I'm like, why are all these people going on buildings? Then they're all getting blown up, by the aliens. But if the pandemic has taught me anything over the last year and a half, it makes perfect sense why people would do that. So, great movie, great characters. What I would recommend is do not see the sequel that came out 4 years ago.
I actually haven't seen that yet, to tell you the truth. That's what I've heard, because I think you told me that. I think Vinny might have also told me.
Eric and I went to go see it in theaters. Yeah.
No good.
Not good. No, really dumb. They set up, there was supposed to be a third one, and I think that got canceled because the second one did so bad. And I was really upset that Will Smith didn't want to be in it. And then I saw it and I said, yeah, good call, Will.
Yeah, I probably saw that script, was like, nope. So.
But great. That first one's a great movie. So good pick.
Awesome.
All right. My number 4, oddly enough, my health teacher showed us this video in freshman year of high school. And the tie-in to health class, it's there, but it wasn't, we didn't do anything with it after. It was just like, hey, we're going to watch this movie because it covers the curriculum. I'm like, okay. Now I had never seen this movie before. So my number 4 is the Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss classic, What About Bob? I kid you not. We watched that in health class, freshman year of high school. I mean,
okay. I didn't see that one coming.
No.
So,
and I remember the health teacher was our football coach, and he was kind of a strange dude, but he's like, all right, we're going to watch What About Bob? Because it's going to teach you about obsessive compulsive disorder. And
I was going to ask, what was he showing you?
I guess for the OCD tendencies of Bill Murray's character, but
that was part of health.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember learning about any of that OCD.
No, I don't think we actually talked about it. I think he just didn't. I think he had I wouldn't be surprised if he had a big game and he was working on his playbook or something for football that week. But
and he had the VHS.
He's like, it was a VHS tape. I can guarantee you that. That was in our high school. They still had to wheel in the giant TVs.
Oh,
on the rollers.
Yeah.
But a great movie. I love Bill Murray. Richard Dreyfuss plays a great asshole in that movie. Bill Murray's hysterical. It's just a great, it takes place during the summer. They're at their lake house as well. Just a lot of fun. And it's Bill Murray doing his Bill Murray thing. So you can't ask for much more than that. Nope. But that is my number 4. What about Bob?
Good call. I like your list, Justin.
Yeah, I figure I'm trying to go diverse.
Very unique. Mm-hmm. Very unique. All right. So my number 3, I know you really like this movie, Justin. I don't know if you put it on your list though, because it's just you could just say it's right before summer technically starts or whatever.
Okay.
Because it technically starts at the end of a school year.
Sure.
But I'm going to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Good choice. Good choice. Good choice.
You know, what can I say? Just a great classic John Hughes Chicago classic. Blowing off school. The character, if you haven't seen the movie, go see that movie.
Yes.
My favorite character of that movie is Edward R. Rooney, Dean of Students. The line, you know, leaving aside the hilarious scene where Jennifer Grey, you know, playing his, I forget his sister's name,
kicks him in the face.
Just kicks the shit out of him in the house. But when the flower delivery man drops off the flowers,
played by Louis Anderson.
Yes, that's right.
Played by Louis,
Good
young
call.
Louis
I
Anderson.
forgot about that.
Yep.
You know, from the faculty and staff, and he honks the horn. He gets them.
Yeah.
And then Poochie, look what Uncle Ed has for you, little fucker.
I remember the first time I saw that movie was on WGN, and they digitally imposed the finger. So I'm like, why is he making a fist, Mom? And she's like, I don't know. But oh god, that is such a great movie. Yeah, there are so many good things to say about that movie. I have a Ferris Bueller movie poster in my classroom. And nice. the kids there, the first couple of weeks, they're like, what's that movie? I'm like, oh, that's my favorite movie of all time. It's a great movie. And then they'll go and watch it and they'll be like, Mr. McAwee, why do you like a movie about a kid who skips school? I'm like, don't think too hard about it, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, don't read too much.
Don't read too much into it. It's just a good movie. But yeah, completely agree with you.
Just the and I actually, if you remember when they dropped the Ferrari off at the parking garage, there's the two guys. One of them I know was in the movie Platoon. I forget the actor's name. But the African-American fella actually went to to school with his son, actually.
Really? That's awesome.
Growing up or whatever. He's like, yeah, baby, we got to do this again. You know, that guy.
Yep,
so
exactly.
When they take the joyride around there. So that was another favorite part of the movie. But, you know, you struggle to find a part you don't like in that movie that doesn't make you smile or whatever.
It used to get me so angry. There was a guy on WGN radio I used to listen to. He did overnights, and he was like the movie critic. And that was like his most hated movie. He said, that is the dumbest movie. And you know what? Like, I don't get that.
You know what? I don't see it, but he's not the only one I've heard. Like that movie just doesn't work for some people.
Yeah, he's like, he's such an unlikable character. I'm like, well,
you know what? Some people don't gravitate or don't get. And I'm not. You know, I don't like all coming of age stuff or whatever.
No.
But this one just clicked for me. Yeah, probably because I saw it at a young age. We also got to watch it. I remember we had to sign a permission slip when I had my 8th grade graduation.
Wow.
Which I barely made it through that, by the way, grade wise. But we got to watch that in the school auditorium, the whole movie, uncensored and everything. So that was always a lot of fun.
Very cool. Yeah, that's just a great movie.
And another movie I could pick up anywhere. You know, I could be on. Yeah. I don't see it on television very often, but you know, if it happened to come on in the middle of a scene, it's like one of those movies you could, you know, pick up right there.
That is one movie I think I could probably recite that whole movie line for line.
Yeah.
That's how many times I've seen that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and I think too, like one of the reasons I like it so much is a kid, Ferris Bueller did all the stuff I wanted to do, but wouldn't do because it was wrong. You know what I mean? Like skipping school, sneaking into all these things. Right. I was a Cameron Fry. Like I had friends who were more advantageous or adventurous. And I was just like, nope, I'm just going to do my thing. You know, I'm fine. Right. I'm fine. You know, but that's a great pick. Greg. So excellent. All right. My number 3, another John Candy flick, The Great Outdoors. I love that movie. Dan Aykroyd plays such an asshole in that movie. You just hate his character. He's such a dick. Roman, I can't remember what his last name is, but Roman something. But anyway,
I'm gonna have to check out your list. Your list so far, Justin, are movies I've seen but not in a while. So
Yeah,
movies I
yeah.
have to revisit for sure.
So yeah, one of my buddies, my buddy John, that stood up in my wedding. I've known him since middle school. Actually, he was the one that told me to watch this, and I went to like Hollywood Video to rent it. Obviously, in like 2000, because it's always going to be there. Nobody's rented
Right.
that movie out since then. But yeah, like there's so many good scenes that where they're at the steakhouse and John Candy eats the old 96er, and he's got to eat all the gristle and fat. There's my favorite scene is when they rent the jet boat, and he's trying to show his kid how to water ski, and he ends up getting taken out to water ski, and he's hitting all these things. And the fact that the name of the boat is Suck My Wake, which I just find out hilarious. Our family friends who live up in Wisconsin near my parents, their last boat they had on the side Suck My Wake. They had a graphic
Nice.
made for it. But
Nice.
yeah, there's the scenes with the bear. They shoot the bear, they shoot the ass off the bear, the fur. John Candy's just awesome. I love that guy as an actor. I think he did a great job. So that is my number 3, The Great Outdoors.
Good call. Good call.
All right, your number 2.
Yeah, I have to revisit. some
Yeah,
of these
I would
movies.
have
It's been
that
a
one's.
while,
It's
man.
been a while since I've seen that one, but
I am loving your list.
a lot of good memories with that one.
All right, we're boiling down here.
We're getting close to the end.
Number 2, one of my all-time favorites, Vacation.
Oh,
Chevy
great
Chase's
movie.
The original
Great movie.
came out in 83, I think it was.
Sounds about
but,
right.
saw it as a kid, trekking across the United States to get to Wally World in
Mhm.
California, another movie based out of
Chicago.
Harold
Yep.
Ramis, I think, was the one that directed it, I believe.
That sounds right.
But anyway, yeah, just Chevy Chase,
Doing his thing. Yeah.
doing his thing. It's just one of
Yeah.
John Candy in it.
John Candy,
towards
also
end,
the
playing
security guard at the end.
Before he was more he wasn't as well known then.
Park's
or
closed, folks.
whatever.
Moose should have
Right.
told you.
And just all the crap they have
Mhm.
to deal with.
Endure.
I mean, in the middle of the movie, you got Randy Quaid as cousin Eddie right there. You
Yes.
get to meet him, and you won't actually see him again till Vegas vacation. So,
Right,
or
right.
no, so I'm sorry,
Christmas
till
vacation, yeah.
vacation. So, yeah, just Eugene Levy playing the car salesman.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
very
that's right in the
A lot of these
beginning, yeah.
guys you forget we're in
Oh,
the
that car
movie.
is so ugly.
And just the family
Truckster, yep.
metallic P. No, I ordered an Arctic Blue. So I mean, just
I love that they haul Aunt Edna's dead body on the roof of the station wagon.
yes, and drops him off at
Yeah.
cousin Normie's.
Yes.
So you left his
Yes.
dead mother on his front porch in the rain. I'm sure he won't
Trash
mind.
bag, yeah.
So,
That's a good pick.
So I just love, I think a lot of dads can feel when, he's been in the car too long.
Yeah.
And you just kind of snap. So
That's a good pick.
just a great movie. I think Christmas Vacation is still my favorite vacation.
That's definitely my
movie, but,
favorite.
it's
Yeah.
like
1A
calling
and
it
1B.
exactly, and
Yeah.
great summer movie.
Did you see the Vacation remake that came out like a handful of years ago?
I did not like it.
You didn't like it?
whatsoever.
No?
No,
Okay.
I did not like it.
I feel like I liked parts of it. I thought the ending was really dumb, but
Mhm.
I thought it was going to be worse. I think my expectations were so low going
Oh,
in. That's
really?
why I didn't mind it, but I could definitely
Yeah.
see why people don't like it.
Yeah,
though,
no,
for sure.
I didn't care for it at all.
All right. Good pick. Very good pick there. My number 2, we are a baseball podcast after all. So
Uh-huh.
summer, I got to go with The Sandlot.
There it is.
That
I
is
knew
one of
it.
my favorite movies. I still remember renting that movie as a kid and loving it. Just the fact that it takes place that whole summer. There's the awesome, fireworks scene during the 4th of July where they're playing baseball in the Sandlot with the fireworks, keeping the light going for them. James Earl Jones is awesome, is his character. You got the Beast is the dog. Dennis Leary, actually really good in that movie, playing the stepdad. I really liked him as that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought that was Dennis Leary.
Yeah. So just a fun movie. That was kind of like my introduction to baseball a little bit when I was a kid. Benny the Jet. I know we've talked about Sandlot before. The ending's kind of silly when he's trying to steal home, I think, right? But Yeah, great movie.
Oh well, yeah. Well, we can let that one go, I
Great
guess.
movie. I
But
love the pool scene with Squints, and he makes his move on the lifeguard. And then I love one of my favorite things about movies, and this is a silly thing, but I love when they give you like the little sidebar of what happened to each character at the end. And
it's not.
Sandlot
Yeah.
does that, which I loved. I think one of the characters, they're like, oh, he got really into the 60s and we never heard from him again. Like that just cracked me up as a kid. So, but yeah,
Well, I think yeah. I mean that's the thing that kind of speaks to anyone's childhood who grew up playing baseball with their friends.
yeah,
Always your whole summer was outside. I mean, I know it definitely appeals to me because that was how it was for us,
right,
growing up pretty much. So,
right.
and in Chicago, there's not too many places to play. So,
No,
any kind of patch of grass that you can find
that's what you're
when the
doing.
park is full, that's where you're playing. You can just make
Exactly.
it work. So,
Yeah.
no, good call. It was an honorable mention. It was actually
Okay.
going to be it was that in between License to Kill to sneak into 5, and of course I can't help
You got to go with the
myself.
Bond.
I
Got to
gotta
go
go
with the
with the
Bond.
Bond movie, but Sandlot, no,
Good
excellent call
choice.
right there.
All right,
So
cool. All right, what's your number 2, Greg?
my number, oh no, we're down to number 1 now,
Oh,
aren't
we are.
we?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, we're down. You're number
So
1. This is the big
number
one.
1, I wonder, I was thinking, what would your number 1 be? Do you have any idea what mine is?
I have no clue what yours is.
Okay,
None.
I don't know where we're at with our number 1s, but mine is arguably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
Definitely could be in my definitely top 10, possibly my top 5 favorite movies of all time is Jaws.
Good choice. Good choice. I will admit, Greg, I have never seen Jaws all the way through still to this day. I have never seen it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you really want Jaws in the second half when they go out to sea with Brody, Quint, and Hooper. So I mean,
I love that character though. I've seen of it.
Robert Shaw, who plays Quint, is just phenomenal in that movie. My favorite character, the whole speech aboard the USS Indianapolis, just his drunken antics, his yelling, his ways, his jokes, his singing.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Shaw is just the man. Former Bond villain, by the way.
I did not know that.
Right there. Very good in that movie. My 3 favorite movies that he's in are The Sting, From Russia with Love, and Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And just I mean, the first half of that movie is great, but there's a lot of slow parts. There's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of explaining what's going on. But overall, when you get to the second half, when you finally head out to sea and they're hunting the great white down, I mean, it is just some of the most fun. Yeah. And then it hits that, and then it, like I said before, when he gives the speech about the Indianapolis, I mean, that is one of the darkest, creepiest movie scenes where you're like locked into it.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to Robert Shaw's acting right there. Just another one of those movies that I could just watch anytime, pick it up from anywhere, and then I see it on, and that's it. I'm watching it the rest of the way through.
That's it.
I mean, just a summer terror. I mean, it never
amazes me that it was PG, but I know they didn't have PG-13 at that point.
I don't know how they nowadays they don't get away.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. It freaks so many people out of the water at that time. It never really did it to me, but it's like always something I think about.
It's always in the back of your mind, right?
There's always some sharks swimming around out here. And when I was in Mexico, not for my wedding, but before that, back in like 2007, I did actually see a live tiger shark swimming out on a reef right there. So it was pretty crazy, but just something, that it's just one of those movies that you'll never kind of forget.
You never forget it
once you saw it, so, but like I said, one of my all-time favorite movies and definitely my favorite summer movie.
That's a really good pick. Yeah. That's one of those ones where, I mean, I've seen most of it. I mean, the rest I've picked up through like osmosis, right? Like it's so ingrained in the culture, between like the theme and just everything, that goes along with it. But yeah, that's a great pick.
There's been a lot of rumors lately, or like fake news articles about Spielberg possibly doing a reboot.
Oh geez.
I mean, these these reboot things. I mean, these kind of like these softer reboots where you just kind of, you don't
The key
remake
points,
it, right?
yeah.
You don't remake it, but you just kind of re-energize it a little bit or
Yeah.
something. I mean, that's something you can really stay away from too. I would like to leave Jaws, kind of preserved the way it is right now. So,
My one friend John, the same one that told me to go rent Great Outdoors,
yeah.
he is probably the biggest Jaws fan I know.
Oh, that is awesome.
To the point where back, gosh, I was probably 23, maybe 22, 23.
Yeah.
Anyway, he found, or he knew of, there was a Jaws themed bar out by us where we grew up. It was like 111th and Ridgeland, I want to say. It was in Worth.
Really?
And so I met him there. We met with a group of friends there. I think it was like Black Wednesday. Would have been Black Wednesday, right? Yeah, before Thanksgiving. And we went there. And it was literally, they had all the Jaws movie posters on the wall, like Jaws 1, 2, Jaws 3D, which I heard was awful. I think, is there a Jaws 4?
There's a Jaws, The Revenge.
Jaws, Revenge of Jaws, yeah.
Which might be one of the worst movies ever made.
They had like all this like sea aquatic themed stuff hung up. And then they had a real shark cage on the bar that you could get in if you wanted to. It was strange. And then needless to say, that was the one and only time I was ever there because then it closed very quickly thereafter.
No, oh.
Yes. This was like back in like 2009, maybe something like that.
Okay.
But I will never forget. Yeah. I'm like, oh, the Sharks bar. And then he's like, yeah, it closed. So pour one out for I can't remember what the bar was called, but yeah, so it is just ingrained in our culture.
If I ever meet your friend John, we can do Jaws lines again.
You will. You'll see him Saturday when we have everybody over, Greg.
So. Oh, perfect.
So there you go. So you can
does he listen to the podcast?
I'll have to ask him. I don't know.
He's
we'll say he got mentioned multiple times, so I'll tell him about it. All right. My number one, you probably know, I didn't say anything when you mentioned it, but my number one is my favorite movie of all time, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like I said, I have movie poster of it in my classroom. I have a movie poster of it in my basement, along with some other movie posters. I still remember seeing that when I was in grade school and getting nervous that that's how high school was going to be, that there was all these, the coach making you run in a golf when he's in a golf cart.
He's in a golf cart,
and that freaks me out, but I love the movie. And then I got to high school and I'm like, yeah, that's not like high school. They didn't make us run at all in high school. And then I got to college and I kind of look back fondly on it. And now, when I think back, I'm like, my first year teaching, those kids are way past high school now. It's kind of depressing, but yeah, love that movie. It made me, want to go do all those things in Chicago. We actually took a trip 1 year with my friend John and his wife and Erica. And we literally did all the things they did in Ferris Bueller. We went to the Sears Tower. We went to we didn't go to a game at Wrigley, but we've all been to games at Wrigley. But we tried to hit every single thing they did. We went to the Art Institute where they go to the
Art Institute. Yeah. I don't know if that restaurant.
We did not eat
really
pancreas.
Exists.
It's Chez Key or Chez Louis or whatever it was.
Oh, is that word?
Yes, but we did all that, and then also another cool thing. I can't remember if it was for the 25th anniversary or had to have been for the 25th anniversary. They actually they set up a screen on the infield at Wrigley, and they projected the movie, and we went and watched it. Erica with
cool.
Lynn and Vince, and we watched it. That was awesome. So many good one-liners. Like I said, I love Cameron's character. I think he's my favorite character in that whole movie. And everything about Ferris Bueller, I'm just a huge fan of. The Ferrari. Any video game I play where you can customize the license plate in a racing game, I always put nervous as the license plate, just like Cameron's dad had on the Ferrari. Just a great movie. Like I was saying, my favorite scene at the end where Bruni gets on the bus makes me laugh every time. You want a gummy bear? They're really warm. They've been in my pocket all day.
They've been in my pocket. They're all warm and stuff. They just flicks it.
Yeah. And then he looks up at Rooney eats it on the top of the bus. So, I there's so many good things to say about that movie. It's just a perfect, snapshot of what the 80s, I imagine what the 80s were like. Cause when I was living in the 80s, I was too young to remember any of it. So, great music in that movie too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Really quick, Justin, I think I told you this a couple of years ago, at work, there's a men's room with the cork board above the urinal where we all put up stupid shit or write stupid
Okay.
shit up there. And I wrote the question, or I wrote the lines. It's during the Cubs game, what's the score?
Nothing to
The kid,
nothing.
nothing to nothing. Then I wrote who's winning, and I write right answer there.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, nothing to nothing. Well, no one's winning. It's tight. All these stupid
Oh,
generic answers. I'm like, what's
no.
going on? And then finally, I go back like a week later and someone there writes in, capital letters, the Bears.
The Bears. I love that scene. That's such a
Finally
good scene.
someone got that one.
Such a good
that was
scene.
that was great. Even small little moments like that, So,
Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. For the longest
Right.
time, I thought there was a real guy named Abe Froman, and I
I
not
did
believe
too.
there is. So,
I did too.
but great movie. Greg, you got any other honorable mentions you want to mention before we wrap up?
Oh, I mentioned The Sandlot.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I probably do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nothing's jumping
jumping to
out.
mind?
Nothing's jumping out right now.
Okay.
So, what about you? Did you have?
Yeah, I had three. So I had Independence
okay.
Day. Independence Day was one.
Oh,
that
good,
was
good.
almost on my list. The second one I had was American Pie 2, just because they rent a cottage for the summer, which doesn't make any sense that a bunch of high schoolers got to rent a cottage. I don't know how that works, but I suppose it could. I made for a movie, and I love those American Pie movies. The last two I think are my favorite, though, just because of being more of an adult now.
Yeah.
The wedding and the reunion. The reunion one's really good. It cracks me up every time. But my last one has a former couple Mighty Ducks in it, and that is Heavyweights, where they go to fat camp, and Ben Stiller takes over the camp and turns it into like a prison camp where he's trying to get them to lose weight so he can make money and market the camp. So. That's a great. I love that movie. That's another
Good
one.
call.
I was so happy when I saw. I think it's on Disney Plus now. I want to say.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I think.
Okay.
And I watched it again recently, and I'm like, oh, this still holds up. It's still good. It's still good. So,
I actually have one honorable mention. I don't know when you said camp. That made me, when you mentioned Heavyweights and you said camp, that made me think of another. And I know this would not find its way anywhere near your list, Justin, but maybe your wife's list if Erica did a top 5.
I know where you're going with this.
Friday the 13th.
So,
Camp Crystal Lake right there in the middle of summer.
Have not seen that movie either.
One of my favorite horror movies, the original. So
that's with Jason, right?
That's with Mrs. Voorhees is the killer,
right?
In that one, and then Jason just pops out of the lake there at the end, little young, deformed Jason. So,
thank you.
Great movie.
Good stuff.
I recommend it, Justin. You should watch it.
We'll see. I'll get through the Bond movies first before we start moving on to the scary movies.
Gosh.
So
can I just watch those with you, Justin?
Sure.
I'll try to be silent.
Grad school's over. I got nothing but time now for a couple more weeks.
Watch this. Watch what he's gonna do. You'd be like, really? That was it?
That was it? Yeah. No, that'd be fun.
This guy's really playing James Bond. He's like 60 for God's sake. I'm like, well, that's Roger Moore.
I can see his walker off the camera.
He pretty much could. So,
God,
he actually had to have. Oh God, here we go. He actually, for one of his movies, he actually had to be on skis, but they had to do back project, or they had to actually pull him along while they kept him stable.
Oh yeah,
because they couldn't do a back projection. So he's there being towed. But, he's not actually skiing. They're just kind of like, he's got a harness on. They're just kind of pulling him while they're in the background skiing for real. So if that gives you kind of any indication on where he was towards the end of his Bond career. But
yes, it does.
I'll leave it right there.
Yes, it does. Well, on that note, if you would like to write in, tell us what your favorite summer movies are. Tell us what your favorite Simpsons characters are. You can email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com or post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/baseballandwhatever or tweet us at baseballandwhat or Instagram us or gram us, Insta us. I don't even know what you say there, but at baseballandwhatever
for that.
And if you'd prefer to use our new fancy dandy free website, it is baseballandwhatever.weebly.com. And you can find all our videos on there. You can contact us. You can do whatever you want on there as well. Last bit of housekeeping. I think maybe this week or in the coming weeks, I was lucky enough. I don't think I mentioned this on the last show. I don't think I did. I was on a podcast called The Gamer Looks at 40, and I was interviewed by Bill It was awesome. Pretty much what he's doing is he's doing a bunch of different interviews, just talking about, people our age in their early to mid 30s, approaching 40, and just how, video games have kind of shaped our life. So he interviewed me and we talked all about what it was like to have a computer that could play PC games in the early 90s before, the internet was started. So we talked about Doom and Duke Nukem and a couple other things in there. So, and apparently, if you've ever heard of the game Mega Race, he was also a huge fan of too, which I have never heard of anyone who even knew that game was, but that was one of my favorite games growing up. So
I do not know Mega Race.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're going to hear all about it when
I can't wait. It's not out yet. Hopefully
not out
this
yet.
weekend,
No.
But I am dying to hear this interview.
Yeah, it should be, I would assume, in the coming weeks. I know he's kind of doing it a pretty cool and unique way where he's splicing different interviews together based on the topic that they focused on. So I will definitely be tweeting when that releases so people can check that out. Otherwise, that's all I got. I know we got some more Consider Them Slimed coming up. Greg, you want to share any updates on that?
Yeah, like I mentioned on the previous one, I was away for a couple of days, but we're going to try and do another, what is it, a third edition, a part 3?
Yes.
Of the the infamous video game backlog. And I thought we had gotten the worst of the worst or the best of the best, I guess, in this case, out of the way. But, oh, man, things are not looking good. And to my credit, though, Justin, you and I did play some Mario Golf.
We did. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I forgot, we should mention that. Was it our second match? We played like 4 matches or something like that.
I think you won 3 of them, right?
Was it the second one where we were tied on the last hole?
And
you sank a birdie.
Yeah.
And I sank an eagle putt to win the game from the fringe of the green. Yep. Couldn't believe it, but
that was awesome.
What a fun game that is. So Mario Golf will not be on my list, but there are other
that's
games that are, and I'll save it for the episode.
Awesome.
We'll look forward to that. So
very cool. All right. So like I said, if you wanna get a hold of us, contact us, and I'm sure next week we'll come up with another topic. We'll have to. Well, maybe we can. You know what? Maybe we could do. Maybe we could have Vinny like pre-tape a couple things if we know what we're going to talk about in advance, and then we could play those while we record. Just to
you hear that, Vinny? Send in some sound bites.
Get our Vinny fix.
Yes,
so
a little bit. It's been away too long.
Yes. So on that note, I hope everyone has a great weekend coming up. Hope everyone had a safe 4th of July. Didn't blow off any fingers, and yeah, that's all I got. So stay safe. We'll talk to you guys next week. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.